living with and surviving bullying. Growing up during the 70s and 80s, like most kids back then, I had an amazing childhood. I had friends and every day we played and played. We didn't have all the digital gadgets and unlimited TV channels that kids have today. We played until the streetlights came on and then we knew it was time to go in. When we did go in and it came to bedtime, we were so tired that we fell asleep before our heads hit the pillow, literally. Before I started primary school, my mum took me to play school round the back of St Margaret's Church on Newley Lane. I hated it from the word go. I must have been around 2 or 3 years old and all I wanted to do was play outside on the climbing frame. For it was thick as snow and bitter cold. I remember I was screaming and crying because my mum was trying to prise me off it and I was having none of it. All the time I was at play school I just cried. Despite their best efforts, the staff couldn't get me to settle down. In the end, my mum took me out. However, when I was 5 years old, I started Whitecourt Primary School. At first, I cried because I wanted to be with my mum. Thankfully, I soon settled down and came to love it, and I loved learning, and I still love learning now. During my time at Whitecourt, which was from 1977 to 1981, I absolutely loved it. When I moved up to Broad Lane Middle School in September 1981, I hated it from the start. The main building was very scary, and even though it's now flats, it still scares me. In 1983, my sister moved up to Intake High School, and I moved into the third year at Broad Lane, and that's when the bullying started. The first thing that the girl did to me was put mud and muddy leaves in my sandwiches, which were in my Munch Bunch lunchbox. As you can imagine, I was heartbroken, but thankfully I was given a school dinner. That same girl continued to bully me during the last 2 years of Broad Lane. However, in 1985, when we moved up to Intake High School together, my sister was in the 5th form and the girl didn't bully me. Believe it or not, we even became friends for a while. I used to go to the foster home she was living in and play Scrabble with her and her foster dad. I don't think it's a foster home anymore. As soon as my sister left school and we moved into our second year of intake, which back then was known as the 4th year, the same girl started bullying me again. She'd call me nasty names. She'd sing the Vitalite Margarine song, but instead of singing Oh Oh Vitalite, she'd sing Oh Oh Acne Gel. This is because I had bad acne like a lot of teenagers. In our final year of school, we both had an interview for the 6th form. Afterwards, the girl told me that none of us had got in. Like an idiot, I believed her. I left school on the 25th of May 1988, exactly a month before my 16th birthday. When I went back to the school to see my old teachers and to pick up some work, the teachers told me that I'd been accepted into the 6th form and that I could go back if I wanted to. They thought that now the bullies had left, I'd go on to do really well, especially in English. That year, 1988, at Christmas, I wasn't well because I had the flu. However, on Boxing Day, my mum sent me to the shop. When I got there, the girl who'd been bullying me in school was there. I have no idea how it happened, but we started fighting and I won. I know I had my Rasta Blaster with me and another girl took it off me. Although I have no recollection of this, I should have whacked her over the head with my Rasta Blaster, even though I absolutely despise violence of any kind. The bullying didn't stop there though. When I was 16, I tried to take my own life because it wasn't just that one girl who bullied me. I was bullied by a family who lived opposite where I now live. Thankfully, that family moved away long before I moved on this street 25 years ago. All it took for that girl from school to leave me alone was for a friend who I worked with on the YCS and who was heavily pregnant at the time to slap her across the face and tell her to leave me alone up on Bramley Shopping Centre. After that, she never bullied me again. In fact, she couldn't have been nicer if she tried. The bullying didn't end there though, because I used to go in Bramley Social Club, of which is now called Bramley Sports and Villagers Club. When I was 18, I met a girl who knew me already, but I didn't remember her. Anyway, she started bullying me and once again I tried to take my own life. Also, when I was 18, I became a self-harmer, but my older sister caught me and told our parents. I didn't self-harm again until I left home. Time and time again, I put deep scratches on my arms and legs. Don't get me wrong, I never slit my wrist, but one day I put my fist through a window on purpose. You see, I was having bad problems with the neighbour and his girlfriend who lived in the flat on the other side of the landing from me, and that day I'd had a huge argument with my mum. I wasn't in a good place back then, as you can imagine. In January 2000, I moved into the flat where I still live, and I never saw that man again. I heard that he died in a motorbike crash, but I've seen his girlfriend many times over the years. The woman who I met back up with when I was 18 bullied me for many, many years until one day I finally plucked up the courage to stand up to her. I told her that if she didn't leave me alone, I'd get her done for everything she'd ever done to me. However, the bullying didn't stop there because even now, and even though it's very rare I see her, she still finds ways of getting at me. She tells people that I need supervising when I eat and that my mum can't do it because she's as slack as I am. When no one would do it, she'd have to, and she'll keep saying, "Eat nicely, Julie," over and over again. I do my best to ignore her, but it's hard when she's saying the same thing over and over again. I remember on many occasions she told people that my hair needed lopping off. Thankfully she hasn't done that and I wouldn't let her even if she tried. As an adult I was in so much pain from all the bullying that I wanted other people to feel my pain. I sent horrible messages to people on Facebook. These were innocent people who I went to school with but didn't really know, and their friends and family. I put notes through a neighbour's door until eventually they moved away. I did this because I was in so much pain from the bullying and I was hurting. I wanted other people to feel that pain because I thought it would go away. Of course it didn't go away, it just got worse because I got into trouble with the police and I almost got sent to prison. That's something I'm deeply ashamed of, as something I hate and despise myself for. No one could hate and despise me for what I did more than I hate and despise myself. However, the bullies haven't won because now I'm a writer. I'm in a better place than I've ever been since I was first diagnosed as mentally ill. My writing's just a hobby, but it's something that I'm 100% passionate about. It helps me to keep busy and to express myself. When I write my story, called The Little Monsters, which is aimed at kids, I love to jump into the world of the characters, and I have fun doing so. I have one thing to say to all you idiots who have bullied me over the years, and that is, I'm the one who has won this battle and come out smiling at the other end of the tunnel, not you lot, so jog on. I stick 2 fingers up at the lot of you. No one deserves to be bullied, and no one should bully other people and think it's okay to do so. It's not okay to bully people, ever. It never has been and it never will be. Think before you strike, and think about how you'd feel if you were the one being bullied. No one deserves to be bullied, whether they're weaker than you or not. If you're being bullied, reach out and tell someone. Don't bottle it up and then take your own life, because then the bullies have won. Tell your family, tell your teachers, tell your boss or your colleagues. Always remember that you're better than the bullies, so reach out to someone even if you don't really know them. Bullying of any kind is so wrong on so many levels. It always has been and always will be. Don't let the bullies win. Reach out and tell someone. Don't go through it alone. Always remember that there's always someone who will always be willing to help. There's always someone that you can turn to for support, even the police, so you're not completely alone. Reach out and ask for help. Trying to take your own life or succeeding in doing so is not the answer. That will just leave your family and friends in pain and with questions they want answers to. Reach out, always, because we're all better than the bullies. The end. Now I've shared my story with you, I'm going to share a couple of stories that other people have shared with me. Facebook. I worked at a retirement facility in the kitchen at a job I really loved. I loved helping the elderly at the facility, and I even received my CDM certificate. Then they hired a new director of dining services. The manager and this woman who was supposed to help me with my job destroyed my life forever. This woman was trained to be a dietary aide, but she went to HR and told them that she didn't have time to take her breaks. I relieved her of some of her duties so she could get her breaks. It turned out that she'd manipulated HR and me so she could have extra time to try and do my work. She kept crossing the line. She'd constantly go over my head talking to nurses instead of going to me first. She constantly talks about me behind my back to other staff. She told staff in the kitchen that she was going to take my job. She criticised my clothes and she always did things to make me look bad when I didn't do anything. I asked her nicely to stop trying to do my work, and she said, "We'll see." The director of dining would do nothing. He was her favourite. She'd sabotage me by changing the menus and she'd write nasty notes. She was trying to be in charge when she wasn't. She even said that she was the one who made up the tally sheets that the cooks were supposed to follow. Not true. She always got into my things and on my days off. She also took my name off the answering machine. If a resident wanted to contact me, they couldn't. Always on my days off, she never followed protocol. She acted like her shit didn't stink and she was better than anyone else. The director of HR did nothing, like always. The last straw was when she got into my files on my day off and threw out what she didn't want. The one she did want, she whited out my writing and rewrote it in her own writing. Then she wrote what she needed to do on my personal calendar. The whole thing was making me so sick that I ended up leaving a job I loved. After I left, they never posted my job. This woman got it 3 weeks later. The job description clearly stated at least 5 years' experience at a nursing type facility was needed. She didn't have that. She worked at a bar. I was there for almost 8 years. She did it again to someone else. She's very power hungry. She only did my job for a year and then she worked to move up again. She only did my job for a year and then she wanted to move up again. She bullied another person with her lies and the director of dining. I found out that she has a list of people she wanted to get rid of. She'll do whatever it takes if she doesn't like you, which makes it very toxic in the kitchen. She's a good actor and pretends she didn't do anything, which is BS. You can ask anyone who has left because of her terror. Shame on the company for letting this behaviour go on. It's not a safe place to work. I really miss the residents. I still visit some of them that I became good friends with. It blows me away how awful people can act to another person when they want your job. Working together and having compassion for another person at that place has gone out of the door. I cried so much after I left. It's taken me 2 years to get over what she did. It caused me so much anxiety. She's just not a good person. There should be laws in every state to prohibit this action in all places of work. They don't seem to understand what it can do to another person. I have anxiety and it took so much out of me having to deal with this woman who was my bully. All she cared about was herself. She was also so narcissist. My husband thought I was going to have a heart attack. I wanted to work there until I was 67, but I left at 64 because of her. What kind of person goes into your files and gets rid of what she doesn't want? The files she kept, she whited out my writing and rewrites the same thing in her writing. Then she writes what she needs to get done on my personal calendar. It was my desk and she did this on my day off. It's not normal. Nobody did anything because the director of dining really likes her. He also likes a conflict in the kitchen. If there was an argument between 2 employees in the kitchen, he'd just stand there and watch. He was supposed to intervene. Facebook too. I've been bullied all my entire life and I developed borderline personality disorder. I have multiple immune disorders too. Facebook. I worked in a thrift store for 7.5 years. I am shy and quiet, but I did my work and went home. I became friends with a couple of co-workers and I still am to this day. Get some grown middle-aged woman and you have jealousy, drama and gossip and bullies, not to mention catfights. This went on for years as I was bullied, gossiped about and thrown under the bus. Nothing was ever done until January 29, 2024. The store laid everyone off and reopened in April 2024. It's not fully staffed and younger people work there now. There's no more gossip or drama. Facebook. I posted years ago about being bullied and harassed out of a job because I wouldn't have an affair with one of the owners. He spent the last 5 years stalking me. At first it was more intense and I had constantly calls where they'd ring and hang up to my phone. My bins were ripped open, my website was hacked, and they lied about me online. I tried to go self-employed since he ruined my reputation and network. After a couple of years, that seemed to calm down and I thought he'd finally got bored and left me alone. However, him and his employees now constantly check my social media profiles. I know because it notifies me they're the highest views almost every month. His profile comes up as a suggested friend on Facebook, even though there's no shared groups or friends between us. I'm told that this is due to someone viewing your profile. He created a fake discard account and tried to get me to talk to him on there. I stopped using most of my social media and I use everything else anonymously, but those left are constantly tracked. I don't understand what he wants. It's been years and he wrecked my life. It's not as if I have anything left to take. I've had severe agoraphobia since this happened, so I rarely leave the house. He has all my details since I worked for him and it's local. I had a seizure and heart issues due to the stress and my health is on the floor. I lost my friend after he lied about me and now I have huge trust issues, so I'm more or less isolated. My career is dead and I haven't been able to work due to the above. I'm scared a new employer would contact him for a reference and he'd find out where I might be working. I don't recognise myself anymore. I don't get why he's still following me after all this time. I have a friend of a relative who is in the police who advised me to keep a record of everything, which I have. The police won't do anything unless he escalates things, which he won't because he has a high-profile role and it would be too much of a risk. I feel as if my life was stolen from me 5 years ago and now I'm just locked in a cage, slowly starving to death, and I can't do anything. I've never had anything like this happen to me before, so it was a total shock and I was completely unprepared for it. I've always got on great with people. Even this guy seemed really nice to begin with. Then he did a total 180. It still confuses me to this day as it was a drastic change and it's essentially ended my life. How do you recover from something like this? The End. Written by Julie Elizabeth Hansel on the 4th of the 8th, 2025. Remember guys, if you've been bullied, reach out to someone. Don't suffer alone. Don't think you're alone. Just reach out and those who are doing the bullying, think, how would it make me feel if I was the one being bullied and not the one doing the bullying? Because I can honestly and genuinely say, it wouldn't make you feel good. You'd feel frightened. You just wouldn't want to just be here. You know, I tried taking my own life twice because of bullying. I'm a survivor. If I'm a survivor, you're a survivor, everyone's a survivor. Do not let the bullies win. Ever. Ever in your life. Ever. Don't try taking your own life. Don't become a self-harmer. And don't succeed in taking your own life, because none of that is the answer. None of it. Reach out to someone, even if it's a total stranger who you've never met before. Reach out. Just reach out and tell someone, even the police. Just reach out and tell someone, please, please don't ever suffer alone, and don't ever feel that you're alone, because you're not. You're not alone. You're a survivor. You'll get through it, you'll pull through it, and you'll come out smiling at the other end of the tunnel like I did and many other people have. Just remember, reach out, reach out, reach out. Always, always, always reach out. Always and forever. Take care of yourselves, guys. Just remember, as I've said a million times already, reach out to someone. I'm going to go off now, so see you later. I love you all. Take care. Bye.